So when archaeologists finally are able to break through the wall safely of King Tut's tomb in Egypt, and actually perhaps then be able to find the long-awaited resting place of Queen Nefertiti, and perhaps confirm that her skull is indeed elongated, you have to ask yourself, is it possible that we will also find ancient action figures, and now perhaps worth millions of dollars? And I say yes. And wait a minute, I'm getting a call here. Is it from an otherworldly being? Let's pick it up. Hello? The Hot Toys Wizard. Happy New Year, baby. You are an otherworldly being. Yes, I do think that there will be action figures, 6 scale, that perhaps are worth millions of dollars right now. I do think her skull was elongated, yes. What's more interesting, that or if Darkside Rey comes out? Well, you know that Darkside Rey is coming out. Also, another version of the Jack Nicholson Joker, also Queen Amidala. I don't know what's more interesting. Hey, listen, let me ask you this. Also about Wizard. Well, that indeed was an otherworldly being. What about all of this on here? I've got the Wizard juice. We're kind of crazy in 2024. Let's go ahead and dive into this exciting episode of the Market Show right now. All right, and welcome everybody to 2024, and Happy New Year, and to the first market show of 2024. I hope you all had a great and blessed holiday season, and I hope you had a great New Year's, a safe New Year's, and my best to you in 2024 for sure. All right, wow. If you don't know who I am Aries Tarrington, the host of the Market Show and all of the shows here at 6 Scale Cantina. Go ahead and smash that like button. If this is the first time you're watching, please also go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Wow. I tell you what a tremendous year it was in 2023 for Hot Toys. And they announced upwards of 100 new drops. Absolutely crazy in 2023 for sure. And on top of that, so much innovation with the new Hano series, Artisan series, different things, different IPs. Absolutely magnificent year and step up for Hot Toys as a company. But I tell you what, it has been so, I'm not going to say overwhelming, but perhaps a bit awestruck in a way of how much is coming out honestly, if you take a look, or if you do a quick calculation on 100 drops, and if you're going to average that by, let's say, $275 average per drop, that's like upwards of $25,000. And you have to ask yourself, how many people in the community, in the 6-scale community, can really commit to pay $25,000, through the whole span of when these come out? Look, I'm all for, if you have the money and you've got the means to buy all of these figures. But I could tell you that a lot of collectors I know, including yours truly, I just can't afford that kind of dough. And I'm never going to feel any type of even remote pressure to try and keep up with any of that. But as I've told you here, and even almost a few years ago now, because I'm coming up on my 3-year anniversary with this channel, you can't get everything here, most of us anyway. But perhaps with such a great and vast selection, is it possible that we could get really what we want? And I say, yes, we can. Because the selection with a near 100, with 100 last year, and perhaps maybe 100, or even a step up from that in 2024, our selection is going to increase exponentially, and the opportunities to fill our display cases, our DTOFs, our Costa cases, our whatever, is going to be so, the selections, it's going to be like trying to, pick wallpaper from the old Two Guys, baby. It's going to be a whole lot. And I personally am looking forward to that. But don't get sucked in thinking that you got to get every one. Not only is that impractical, it's not feasible for most collectors, even those that get and have, an enormous amount or an exorbitant amount of, expendable income to spend on these. I could tell you from this channel creator right here, Aries Tarrington, there's no way in the world I'm even going to try to come close with doing that. But if I can keep getting this incredible selection, perhaps maybe even in the future, for Star Wars, for instance, getting characters like a Poe Dameron, getting characters like a Jimmy Smits Bail Organa, getting characters like a General Grievous. I can take these characters and some of these characters, and they would fit in most nicely into my displays in certain areas. I'm all for continuing to pump out new and exciting figures, and not just with characters like Poe or like General Grievous, okay, that we haven't received yet, but characters like this Darkside Rey, a variant, like this Queen Amidala from the Phantom Menace, a variant. I'm all for variants like that as well. I'm not going to get them all, but some of them, like that Darkside Rey, for instance, talking about Star Wars, or being able to get a Queen Amidala from the Phantom Menace, that'll sure fit in to what I'm doing. So you could see right here on this particular banner, this is the 2024 Darkside Menace when it comes to Hot Toys. And you do have to wonder, are these 3 figures here candidates for the 85th anniversary of Batman for the new Darkside collection that Hot Toys teased right before the new year, and for the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace with this Queen Amidala, or perhaps a couple of off variants of Queen Amidala from the Phantom Menace film. I think before we get into that, which I'm going to dive into each one of these, how does the state of the current secondary market combined with the primary market, how does that play into being able to ascertain or make sense of some of these figures here? We're going to get right into it. Let's go to some things in the secondary market right now and take a look at what's going on to kind of get that data, kind of look at those trends, and see if we couldn't build a case here for what I am talking about on this banner. And look at right here. And this, when you talk about an economy that is not good, it's not good. It really, really is not. People don't have the expendable income they once had. Certainly not the expendable income even that they had during COVID. There's not enough money for vacations, for a lot of things that require expendable income, extra money, extra cash, certainly for collectibles or things of this nature. People just aren't buying like they used to. And it's not because they don't want to, it's just the cash. It's not in the ATM machine, baby. It's not in the bank account. It's not inflating on our checks and on our income like inflation has, baby. It just has not. But when it comes to your grails, when it comes to your pieces that are just rare and you really can't get them at any Tom, Dick, and Harry's comic shop, you get what you're still seeing here, even in this economy, from an outstanding seller with 46 feedback. Wow. $445 with 8 bids. Are you kidding me? Back from December 17th. And really with this one here, not including the $14.99, the $15 in shipping, and once you add in taxes, you're like at $500 for this figure, Kate Blanchett, Thor Ragnarok, this Hera figure. Of course, a third party also put out a pretty good, honestly, a really, really good edition of this Gila. But I can tell you right now that the Hot Toys one is king. And you're seeing here with some of the grails anyway, even in this economy, it's still going real good. Let's go to some more here and take a look at some other grails. And a figure that's going up now in this economy. And look at this right here. Look at this Chirrut, which was going down for a little bit. I knew that was going to be very, very short-lived. But $370 from an outstanding seller with 553 feedback. All 100% positive. 22 bids. 22 bids. Pause. You're watching the market chart show. Cheers to you as I drink some wizard juice. Absolutely invigorating and gives me a lot of power to see into the Hot Toys future. Goodness gracious. Free shipping. And you could see even with an off character, although this is a cool as Frack character from Rogue One, this Donnie Yen Chirrut Imwe, and I've got this figure, and I've got the deluxe version, and it is hot. It is hot, hot. And $370, and I'm seeing this march up again, well over the $400 tier range, and absolutely crazy indeed. Let's go to some more as we're taking a look at this. And let's stay with Star Wars for a minute and take a look at this Vader and Tarkin 2-pack. Now, you want to talk about something that's not relevant right now. This is a movie from 1977. It's the original Star Wars. It's A New Hope. It came out a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. $990 with 66 bids, someone on table 66 during one of my live shows thought that this was so good. Some of you who watched me for a long time know exactly what I'm talking about there. If you don't know, please subscribe and you'll find out, baby. Perhaps you could go ahead and put in your pre-order for a table. $66,000. $1,000 for this set. Still in this economy. Wow. Wow. This kind of stuff is going. Look, and let's go even outside of Marvel, Star Wars, DC. You can go to Terminator, and really for Terminator Genesis. But when you talk about these exoskeletons, like this T-800 endoskeleton here, $425, another outstanding seller. This one with 166 feedback, all 100% positive, $425. And I actually really enjoyed Terminator Genesis. I loved it. But yeah, right before Christmas, right before the holidays, 23 bids. 23 bids, not including the $13.30 in shipping. Of course, not including taxes, pushing $475 or so, right around there for this particular figure. So right when you're looking at this, you can clearly see that your grails, some of them anyway, not all of them, your grails are certainly fetching not only the prices that they're valued at, some of them are going up slowly but surely. There's always ebbs and flows. But in this economy, it's not really ebbs and flows. It's not really even ups and downs. It's either you're up or you're down. You know, when you look at like rails going back to Star Wars, like the Mud Trooper that used to go for even $450, sometimes pushing $475. You can't even get $275 for that figure now. And do I think that that's going to stay that way? I say no. I think it will go back up to that $400 range. Actually, maybe even beyond. But not right now. Why? This is real, real important. Not because that's not relevant. Honestly, with the Solo movie and when that was fetching $400 or $500, the Solo movie and everything with Last Jedi and that whole sequel debacle online and with all the negativity, it was way worse than it is now. It was way worse than it is now, and it was fetching high. And then if a lot of it is healed because of The Mandalorian and some other things going on Disney Plus, why is that down? Because the interest was really down then. The answer is, quite possibly, because the economy has been the worst it's been, at least in 2021 and 2022, in the United States, in 40 plus years. In 40 plus years. And while it's moderating slightly, but still high, none of us, as I mentioned earlier in the program, are getting, a lot of us anyway, income, inflation on our income, an increase in our pay at the same rate. Forget about trying to catch up from COVID and right after COVID. Trying to catch up right now, baby. And forget about when you tack in the years and that inflation in the United States anyway of highest it's been at over 40 years. I mean, God bless you if you've been able to keep up and go beyond that to keep up with inflation. But for many of us, including myself, I have not been able to. And even when times were much better, I couldn't collect every figure. And I was talking about having the selection. Certainly right now, I'm really barking up that tree of selection, baby. You're watching the market show. Cheers to you again. So, that's the reason why is because there's just not enough income. And that's why you're seeing some grail, I hate to call them pretenders, because they're really not, but some grails that were trying to compete with grails like this, are trying to compete with grails like that aforementioned and shown Tarkin Invader, like that Mud Trooper, are not exactly keeping up right now. But let's go ahead and take a look at what about the primary market, which is in direct correlation to the secondary market. And what I mean by the primary market is, in some places anyway, figures that are in stock regularly. And you could look at this Endgame Captain America, which is in stock still in some places and very readily available. And because it's in stock, $149. And this is after Christmas. $149.50. Outstanding seller, but low feedback, just 12, but all 100% positive. 149 bucks. That's it. That's it. Let's go take a look at more. Let's take more of what's in stock. Gilgamesh, an outstanding seller. And this seller, with 131,202 feedback, this MMS 637 from the Eternals, Gilgamesh, $205.50. 13 bids. Free shipping. And in some places where this is in stock, and, you know, I could pull this up onto the screen, and not even in stock, and this is very, very telling. In some places, but right here at Sideshow, on the wait list, you could join the wait list for this and get it at $275, or you could go take a look at the primary market, which is now the secondary market, and maybe get it cheaper on some of these. And right now, Pretender Syndrome, like that Mud Trooper, I think that this Gilgamesh, it ties right into that. If you get my drift, ladies and gentlemen, if you get my drift, let's look at this figure. And this is the, reboot, the 2.0, if you will, of the Mark V with the head sculpt, and $179.99, $180, $180. I mean, you have to ask yourself, why only $180? And shipping is $22.40. Outstanding seller with 1,160 feedback and all 100% positive. And in some places where this is in stock, baby, the retail was like $365. Why? Not even close to the retail price at some places where this is available. Why? You have to wonder. Let's look at some more. Let's go back to Star Wars. And this is a really, really cool piece as I pull this up onto the screen. And, gosh, I mean, isn't this telling? An outstanding seller with 72 feedback. Oh, 100% positive. TMS 042. Mint, I read the description, nothing wrong with it. 155, but best offer was expected. So you have to wonder what this actually was. Did he take it for 145? Perhaps 125? And not including the 1778 in shipping. But again, with some of the places where this is in stock at a best offer expected, and you can see the retail price at $290. Is it because people aren't interested in Echo or Iron Man or Gilgamesh or this KX Enforcer droid? I mean, and this is also, it's, for instance, at Sideshow, this is waitlisted. And quite frankly, has been waitlisted for quite some time. So you have to wonder why only $187.50 from this seller here, Hawk Wars Toys, 1,888 feedback, all 100% positive, and with 46 bids. Wow. 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 But when you look at a figure like this, which really Ragnarok and Marvel in general right now, not really so relevant and prevalent, $445. Well, one of the things here is it's not in stock. Terminator Genesis, last I checked, Genesis not exactly relevant right now. $425. Then why this? And of course, I think it's a couple of things. It's not just, it's number one, because the ones that are still in stock at some comic shops, they're easily obtainable. There's no hunt involved. You want it, you buy it, just like Captain Crunch, baby. Just like Captain Crunch. At Walmart or your supermarket, or at Aldi, or at Costco, or Sam's Club, or wherever the heck it is you go. It's as easily obtainable as Captain Crunch, but perhaps not as much in demand as Captain Crunch. And if it's so easily obtainable, and there's no thrill, and there's perhaps maybe just too much stock, that's one of the reasons you see what is going on. But what about the aforementioned Gilgamesh? That one's on wait list. Well, I think you got another scenario going on there, but it still ties into the same thing, the economy. Because the Mud Trooper is not available anywhere either. However, that one is not selling also. And sometimes your secondary characters or certain characters are just not going to pull during a hard economy. And that's why you have some of these figures, for instance, that are getting released from, announced from Hot Toys, and then going on waitlist in like just a few months, some of them. And some of them taking longer, in maybe 6, 7 months, or 8 months, but they're eventually going on waitlist while they're on pre-order, which is absolutely mind-boggling, except when you start to consider what's going on in the economy, not just in the United States, but in every country and region on the planet. And I think that will help make sense as to why stock or production seems to be so low at least during these current and present times. Let's continue to go on and take a look at what's going on here as I tie into some of the fantastical notions of what, I have featured on the banner. And then finishing up with looking at the market. And, you could put Wonder Woman in any category you want, whether she's as relevant as Gilgamesh, or as relevant as Iron Man, or as relevant as the Mud Trooper, or as relevant as, this or that. It's not so much relevancy or how popular a movie was like The Flash, because they came out with a bunch of two versions of The Flash for that movie, which last year at the box office was an absolute mess and a complete disaster, for sure, on that movie. However, not for Hot Toys, and not putting that out, and not for this Wonder Woman, which really, right before Christmas, and seeing this as another American seller from New York, $617 with 18 bids. Wow. Outstanding seller. With 351 feedback. All 100% positive. And not including the $25 in shipping. And not including taxes. I am seeing this figure over and over and over again, selling like the grails already established for years within the market. Why? And going for what they're going for overseas. Why? Well, very similarly, there's not a whole lot of these that were made. There was 1,500 of that Wonder Woman available. 1,500. So when you go ahead and you advertise, as Hot Toys did, hey, we're coming out with a Warner Brothers 100 anniversary Wonder Woman with the artisan wool-rooted hair, new innovation technology, which they did. And hey, we're only going to give you 1,500 of them. Right off the bat, you put that figure in the upper echelon of collectibles and sought out after grails. You make it a grail. It's already fetching over $200 over its retail price on a regular basis. And quite frankly, that was a little bit low. I see this going still for $700, $800. And you have to wonder, is it possible that give this another year or through this year and into 2025 that this will be a $1,000 figure? And I say yes, I do. Because it will always be a Warner Brothers 100 anniversary figure. There'll never be one like it. And it will always have just 1,500 pieces. It's rare, baby. It's a rare find. It's like one of those aforementioned ancient action figures. Maybe not going to be worth millions of dollars, but bury it in the sand for 1,000 years, it may become priceless. You're watching the Market Chart Show. Pause. Happy New Year to you again. Absolutely delicious. So when you look at the data from this, what I have just been showing you, how does that play into some of the figures we're looking at here? And, let's go ahead and dive right into why I think this Batman 85 years anniversary, why I think the Joker from this banner is going to be one of the pieces that are 2.0'd for the 85-year anniversary of Batman. And first of all, this Joker, they've already made this figure. Just like with all the 2.0'd Iron Mans and other figures that you're starting to see them come out with, they already have this particular Joker. Okay? So it makes sense from that standpoint. They already had how many versions of the Heath Ledger Joker? Okay? From the Christopher Nolan trilogy. And from this absolutely outstanding and iconic 1989 Batman movie with Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Michelle Pfeiffer, even Billy D. Williams with the Colt 45, baby. So many. Listen, it makes sense to me that with this 85-year anniversary, perhaps one of the most iconic acting performances of all time, and I put this up there with Heath Ledger. I think Heath Ledger was the best Joker I've ever seen. That was the best. I mean, his performance on that was unbelievable. But let's not discount how awesome and fun the Jack Nicholson Joker was with that 1989 Batman. And they already knew, Hot Toys, that this sold. And they already know, quite frankly, that figure sells and goes for buku bucks within the secondary market. You know, I can just pull up one here, pulling it up onto the screen, and you could take a look at this right here as I bring this up. And I have so many, and this was actually on the lower end, but look at this seller, 385 feedback, all 100% positive, and still just back from December, and $466. Wow. 18 bits, new, not including the $40. Check that out. In shipping, puts it well over $500, not including taxes as well. So, is this a candidate for Hot Toys to reissue this, perhaps with rolling eyes function and an upgrade all the way? And if so, why? And I think one of the big reasons, one of the big whys, is because they've already made this figure. They are familiar with the R&D to create this character. And I also believe that this is such an iconic portrayal of the Joker by an outstanding actor. And I think that besides just Batman and Batmans and versions of Batmans and Batmans and Batmans and Batmans, why not some villains? They seem to be pretty villain heavy this year anyway, and we're going to be getting into that for sure. But I think that you are going to see this particular figure 2.0'd in 2024. For sure, you heard it right here from Aries Tarrington at the 6 scale Cantina. Now, let's continue to take a look at some of this stuff over here for sure. And let's actually stay with Batman. And let's go into some other let's look at this here. And I'll tell you what absolutely makes sense at this point. And you DC fans, you Batman fans, you know exactly where I'm going with this. As you see this on the screen, both the 218 and the MMS 219. Um, I mean, these sell for buku bucks. Here's a pair from an outstanding seller with 364 feedback, all 100% positive. $950. And would we get the pair? Honestly, if they wanted to go with just the Adam West Batman, gosh, he was in The Flash. And I don't think they're done with that 2023 version of the Flash movie at all. And they can certainly go ahead and do that. But I think that these figures here, both of them, are outstanding candidates for the 85th anniversary of Batman for this year, for sure. And let's not forget, going back to the 89 Batman, I think we can get a full head sculpt of Michael Keaton. We have him from the Flash movie, the older version of Michael Keaton. But is it possible that we would get the younger version and the full head sculpt with rolling eyes function from Michael Keaton from 1989? And I say yes. Oh, and I think we're gonna get it, baby. I think that they're gonna milk this for everything they got, and I wouldn't be surprised if the 89 Batman gets a lot of love here, ladies and gentlemen. And there she is. And I'll just blow her up. And I will just say, can you say DX Artisan? And they only make 2,500, like that Elizabeth Olsen Scarlet Witch, or even 1,500, like that aforementioned Gal Gadot Wonder Woman with also the artisan roll-rooted hair. This would sell like hotcakes, baby. It absolutely will. The 85 Batman, 85 years of Batman, the possibilities are endless. Like this. Can you even imagine a Jim Carrey Riddler? And I would absolutely spill my coffee. And look at this here, baby. I think the possibilities, especially with not a tremendous amount of things going on for DC in movies or shows for 2024, I think we may get a steady diet dose of a lot of this stuff being thrown at us. And before I get into some other things from Star Wars, last but certainly not least, pulling this up onto the screen, and this is going to bring back some memories as I pull this up here for you. And when you see this, try not to spill all of your coffee. But there were a lot of Batmans that were teased, if you remember back in 2023. Do you guys remember that? Do you remember that? Do you remember this? And you have to ask yourself, are we going to be getting some of these versions of Batman to celebrate the 85 years of Batman? And I say yes. You're going to get Batman and more Batman and more Batman over and over and over again in 2024, mixed in with some little nice things like that Jack Nicholson Joker 2.0, or perhaps even some of the other things like that Jim Carrey Riddler you do have to wonder. Now, there's some other things on this banner that I think are worth talking about. And there is a Darkside line of Star Wars that's coming out. Pause. You're watching the Market Chart Show. Time to drink some wizard juice before I talk about this. This is one of my favorite podcasts on YouTube. And I get to record it. And yes, I do listen back at them sometimes. And I do enjoy it. I really, really do. I feel my own power as I go through some of these. Darkside line, Star Wars Darkside. There's actually a character called Darkside Rey. And you're looking right at her, baby. Right at her. On this particular banner. And let me tell you something. It would be absolutely spectacular to get a Darkside Rey. But why would we get a Darkside Rey? Why? Now, let me tell you why. They're coming out with a Darkside line. And her name from Star Wars is Darkside Rey. So you have to ask yourself, would this fit into a Darkside line? A character called by Star Wars Darkside Rey? Yes. That's number one. Number two, numbers have already proven that this figure would sell. Even more so than even a Darth Nihilus or some other Sith. Just from what Gentle Giant did with this, just from what Hasbro did with this, just from the sheer call from the community and data that Hot Toys absolutely must have, that shows putting out this figure would absolutely not only match the original Rey and Dio that is now going for, I mean, it's just highly sought after in the secondary market, and it went out of stock so fast, especially after the videos were coming out showing how good that head sculpt was. And it's just, it makes sense numbers wise to also come out with a Darkside Rey, and especially because they're making lower production numbers, as I've been talking about for a couple of years already as well. And thirdly, they absolutely have the head sculpt and partnership with Disney to absolutely pull this out. And with Daisy Ridley signed back with this, it makes so much sense. And this would be such a hot figure. And you could do it with sculpted hair. Quite frankly, you can do it with artisan hair as well. She's beautiful. It's a Sith female. It's Rey. They already have an R&D recipe for this. And they can make tweaks. Rolling eyes function. Would go absolutely insane to get a figure like this. It would go nuts, baby. Nuts, nuts, nuts. And you could take a look at it right here, and it would just be a figure that I believe would do so well. And a figure that I say they're going to put out finally for the 2024 Darkside collection. I am telling you, baby. Wow, wow, wow. Other candidates for the Darkside collection? Do I need to say more? Look at that. Darth Nihilus, great, great candidate. They come out with Venomized Groot, Venomized Iron Man. This concept, that concept. This is more than just a concept. This is Darth Nihilus. They could come out with Darth Raven. They can do so many cool things. And don't forget about this, baby. Don't forget about this. Because I don't think that they're done with the Obi-Wan series. We've got half a head sculpt coming. The battle damaged. Is it possible that we get the non-battle damaged version of Darth Vader and with the full Hayden Christensen head sculpt? And I say yes, and coming with this absolutely awesome Darkside collection. Indeed, if you're liking so far what I'm talking about, look at this insider extra I'm going to be putting out for channel members. I put out not just one, not just two, but 3 full episodes of Drunk on Coffee. Aries Tarrington's Drunk on Coffee, exclusively for channel members, Cantina Insiders, in December. And I'm going to continue to put out a couple of those in January, along with more and more insider extras behind the numbers of Hot Toys' upcoming Darkside line. Are we going to be getting a Darkside Anakin? Are we going to be getting a Darkside Rey? Are we going to be getting an Emperor Palpatine? I say yes, yes, and yes. Go behind the numbers with me. Come and join the channel. And I appreciate your support. Believe me, baby, I keep the price the same. No inflation from here. It's the same price it was in 2022, the same price it was last year, and it's cheaper than a dozen eggs, baby, or a quart of half and half in most places we shop. And just click on the little join button, see everything that it comes with, and in a couple of days, you're going to be getting this insider extra, and we're going to talk about this Darkside line exclusively. This would be absolutely insane, and I believe that this is coming for sure. For sure. Now, let's talk about the last one here. And I'm going to be diving into this Darkside line, this Batman 85 line, and this Phantom Menace 25th anniversary all year, baby. All year, all year. But I will tell you right now, for this anniversary right here, let's talk about the one obvious figure that has Artisan DX and coffee spilling free marketing with every channel that's going to be talking about it for weeks. And this is an opportunity for Hot Toys to have one of the greatest action figures ever created and ever put out in the history of collecting in general. I'm going to be completely honest with you. If they do this right, and they give us an artisan version of this particular figure, and they love thrones, it would be absolutely a showpiece for Hot Toys and be absolutely incredible. And you have to ask yourself, is this one of the pieces that is coming up for the Phantom Menace 25th anniversary? And if so, why? So let me go over this with you. Number one, they already have the rights to Natalie Portman's likeness. They have it with Mighty Thor, and they have it with Padme for the first one. And they already have a recipe now for creating head sculpts for Natalie Portman. That's number one. Number two, you can bet when they invested in head sculpts for Natalie Portman, just like they have with Leia and Tamora Morrison, that they absolutely planned for more than just one version for her in Star Wars and the one version for her in Marvel. And Queen Amidala, Padme, with all her outfits she adorned during the prequel trilogy, this is an absolute bomb, an absolute showstopper, an absolute, it doesn't matter what any other competing toy company comes out with, this steals the headlines. This steals the show. This spills the coffee. This spills the coffee and creates a flood in the six-scale community. And the flood will remake the six-scale community where we're just going to go insane and they're going to set the bar at a precedent never before seen. If you think with the makeup that they do on these Jokers, like that artisan Joker, or like they're going to do on this Jack Nicholson Joker, this falls right in line with this makeup, like the makeup on the Jokers. And I'm telling you right now, this thing is coming, baby. It's coming, coming, coming. It's a showpiece. It has artisan written all over it. It has the makeup. It has the throne. They already have Natalie Portman in their portfolio. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What other figures are they going to be coming out with? Could it be more than one Queen Amidala? There was certainly more than one outfit from the Phantom Menace. You're going to want to stay tuned to Arius Tarrington here, that's me, and 6-Scale Cantina throughout 2024 as we dive into this. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. It is so awesome to be talking about 6-Scale collectibles. Haven't even talked about the Marvel 25th anniversary. So much to talk about, but I got so many shows coming out. Remember, Sunday Night Raw, brand new show, going to be starting this coming Sunday. Don't forget to tune into that. I don't always spill all the coffee, it's gone, and drink wizard juice to sober up, but when I do, I do it right here at the 6-Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Okay.